Hello, gentle listener, and welcome to Nocturnal Transmissions, the fortnightly podcast that produces dark tales. And what, pray tell, has our precociously productive production produced for your perusal at the present point in time? Why, it's Lindsey B. Goddard's Product 9. The distance from my back door to the chain-link fence that borders my yard might as well be the Serengeti Plain. It's too far, too out in the open, rife with predators, thirsty for my blood. Mary stares at me with unspoken hope in her eyes, as if I might save the world today. Her long brown hair is pulled into a sloppy bun. Loose hairs frame a worried face as she surveys the situation through a small window near the top of the door. Rex is a good dog, but not worth dying for. I contemplate how to say this to Mary without sounding like a coward. She bites her lip, hard enough to turn the outer edges white, peering through that window with tears forming in her eyes.
His leash is stuck. It's tangled in the wires of the fence. Ray, he needs help.
I motion with my fingers for her to step aside. Sunlight pours through the pane of glass, causing me to squint as I scan the area. I spot him in the distance. His black fur creates an easy target against the green and yellow foliage of the lawn. A shadow passes over him, blots out the sun for a fleeting moment. Clouds don't move like that. I gulp, knowing damn well what Mary wants me to do. Rex looks pathetic, tangled in the fence, whimpering as he senses the danger all around. This doesn't change the fact that the dumbass did this to himself. I shake my head. We have a routine around here, a daily regimen, a structured plan for every course of action. It keeps us safe. Well, as safe as we can be since the whole world went to hell. Rex knows the drill. He knows our routine like the back of his paw. But he messed up. Went chasing that rabbit. Once every morning and again every afternoon and evening, I crack the back door just wide enough for Rex to slip through. His leash is nothing more than a thin piece of rope, but it offers a certain level of stealth that his old, jangly chain could not. I allow him a few feet of slack, just enough for him to do his business in the nearest patch of weeds. A large wooden deck provides shelter from predators, winged creatures who swoop down from the sky, plucking their prey from the ground. The hair on Rex's spine always stands straight up as he watches the tall weeds for signs of movement. He knows I'm eager for him to finish, to bring him back inside. But I guess no matter how much a dog adapts to human life, in the end, a dog is simply a dog. All it took was a moment of canine instinct, a gut response to visual stimuli that clouded Rex's judgment for 1 second. See rabbit? Want rabbit? Chase rabbit. Just like that, he yanked the leash hard enough to rip it from my grasp and took off across the untrimmed grass. Mary looks at me, tortured thoughts causing the wrinkles around her eyes to deepen. She pulls on her fingers nervously. After 20 years of marriage, I still find her beautiful. The soft nape of her neck as she tilts her head to the side, waiting for my response. The long black lashes that frame her tired eyes. Like any stupid male with too much testosterone churning through his veins, I will risk it all, just to see her smile. I'll get him, I mutter, because there's nothing else to say. No other answer will suffice. Rex is her baby, and I've got to bring him home. It's the response she's been goading me for, and yet the words seem to upset her. She bites her lip again, hanging her head. With a long sigh, she stares at the floor, thinking.
There's a million thoughts going through my head. I keep debating if it's worth the risk.
And?
I don't know, Ray. I really don't. I couldn't live another minute if something happened to you. I'd probably join you in death, if I could manage. But look at him.
Her voice trails off as she gazes through the window. I inch up behind her, resting my palms on her shoulders. I lay my head against her soft brown hair, sprinkled with strands of grey. I sigh and softly say, "It's fine. We have traveled farther than this, not so many days ago. I can make it." I feel her muscles tighten beneath my fingers, hard to the touch.
"Take the shotgun,"
she whispers breathily. I kiss her neck before I turn and walk away. Mary and I were never able to have children. Try as we might, it just wasn't in the cards. All around, the earth was crumbling due to overpopulation. That the burgeoning human race is what caused this hell. It felt like a slap in the face. We weren't allowed the joy of procreation, yet we had to suffer the consequences of a world overrun by humans. Over the years, Mary focused her pent-up maternal energy on whatever lucky furball served as the family pet. Currently, that was Rex, and she loved him dearly. Her heart would break if I let him die today. Rounding the corner from the main room to the hallway, I pause and look back at Mary. Her vision is still fixed on the tiny window. I know she misses the view from her upstairs kitchen, with its large bay window and sliding glass doors that lead out to the red cedar deck. There are only a few oddly placed windows in the basement, casting eerie beams of light through the dusty atmosphere. It works for me. I've seen those things shatter glass, ramming into it repeatedly until 1,000 shards scatter to the ground. But they aren't small enough to fit through the basement windows. So this is where we spend our days. Halfway down the hall and to the left is the laundry room, which also serves as a storage area for essential items. Flipping open a cabinet, I grab the shotgun holster and fasten it to my back. I slide the gun into place. I study the myriad of hunting and pocket knives. Selecting one with a leather sheath, I strap it to my thigh and grab my combat boots. The laces go knee-high, fitting the leather snugly to my calves. Mary flashes me a worried look as I saunter back in. I try not to look uneasy as I stroll over to the door, peer through the little window. Rex is still hooked to the fence. His flat pink tongue hangs from his panning mouth. Sunlight illuminates the green leaves that weave through the metal wires behind him. Mary walks over, plants a kiss on my cheek, and whispers in my ear, "Please hurry." I slip outside, making sure I hear the door latch behind me. It's cool and breezy in the shade of the deck. I listen for any signs of approaching danger, twigs crushing in the distance, wings fluttering overhead. All I hear is a soft breeze rattling through the branches of surrounding trees, and Rex whimpering at the edge of the yard. I inch stealthily past the edge of shadow, into the sunlight, into the open. My throat goes dry and seems to shrivel inside my neck, but I swallow hard, thinking back on how this whole mess began. It started with a WPS. That stands for World Population Society. They set up headquarters in every one of the 50 states. Their goal? A solution to the noticeable strain our growing human race was causing to the environment. Each WPS building was surrounded by military quarters and shrouded in secrecy. Until they released Product 9. They'd been working on an answer to the diminishing food supply. They claimed this powder form of sustenance was the key. It tasted bland, nothing to rave about, but tolerable to the average palate. They had tested Product 9 on various forms of animals, namely mammals. The results were always the same: a sustained and nourished body for much longer than the average meal. And the ingredients required very few natural resources. Our problems were solved. But there's an outcome unforeseen to the scientists who developed Product 9. The experiments exceeded expectations while being contained inside the WPS headquarters. The test runs produced satisfactory results every single time. But as soon as the product was released, available on every store shelf in every city, remnants of it were tossed in every dumpster. Soon, the bugs began to eat it. That's when people took notice. The bugs. They were starting to grow. Beetles the size of field mice, sometimes larger than rats, were spotted at parks and campsites. Cockroaches, as long as the human foot, infested the dumps of the city. Stomping on the mutant bugs was less preferable than simply walking away. Killing them left a revolting mess of splintered exoskeleton, pale white innards, and translucent slime. In dark alleyways you could hear them scuttle, the pitter-patter of little feet that sounded too hard, like the tapping of fingernails on a desk. People started staying indoors. On shopping trips, they'd fill 2 or 3 carts with whatever cans hadn't been discontinued during the reign of Product 9, in hopes of waiting out the problem. Some people turned to looting and violence. Some people found God. Others got drunk or high. The WPS and other government agencies promised a quick, clean solution, but never seemed to deliver. Things worsened by the day, until the average housefly had to be swatted away with an aluminum baseball bat, and children were getting mauled by cockroaches. Mary and I had a chunk of money we'd been saving for retirement. We cleaned out our savings account, stocking up on everything we could possibly need. We haven't left the house since that day. Until now. I am running at full speed, fresh beads of sweat forming on my skin. It feels good to have the sun on my face again. It's been weeks. Yet I am not covering the open area as quickly as I'd hoped. The spacious backyard had been a selling point when Mary and I purchased the house years ago. Now, it seems like the worst mistake I've ever made. Rex stands wagging his tail. He yanks at the rope, probably only managing to tighten the knots further. It's okay. I have my trusty knife. A shadow passes overhead, and I immediately crouch, shielding myself with one arm and reaching for my knife with the other. I hear a buzzing. It's the sound of giant wings flapping at 1,000 beats per second. I look up. I can see its fat body. Its iridescent shell changes from green to blue to black as it swoops through the air. Long, thick hairs jut out in every direction from its back, making strange patterns across the clouds. Like a boomerang, it changes direction as it passes and begins to head back my way. I contemplate whether to reach for my gun. The blast will only alert other insects to my presence. I'll only use it as a last resort. Huge red orbs bulge from its head. I notice the tiny sections of its compound eyes, like a zoomed-in photo I once saw in a school textbook. I cannot tell where its vision is fixed. It could be looking down at me, watching its potential meal, or possibly looking straight ahead in search of something else. There's no way to be sure. So I stay perfectly still, breathe shallow in my lungs until its translucent wings carry it far enough away that I'm sure it's no longer a threat. My knees are trembling as I stand. Goddamn houseflies are as big as a house. I shake my head. Rex is going to owe me big time. If I could send him outside to fetch the paper, he'd be doing it every day for the rest of his life. Too bad the paper boy never comes anymore. Too bad Rex can't go outside to fetch a thing. I throw myself into a high-speed run. I haven't run like this since my football days. My heart is pounding in my chest with such force. I feel like it might burst through my ribs. A cramp forms in my side, burning its way up my rib cage. My arms pump furiously. Trickles of sweat run down my flesh, pulling in the crevices and folds of my body, soaking my clothes. I draw near to Rex. His tail is nothing but a frantic blur as it whips from side to side. I examine the rope that's twisted through the grid-like fence, and I notice something. I hadn't seen it from a distance. Heavy braids of crystalline thread are woven into the shrubs, strewn about the metal fence. In areas where this thread-like material is thickest, it appears white, gauzy, like the bushes have been bandaged. Approaching the fence, I reach out and touch the tip of my finger to one of the gigantic threads. It sticks to my finger, pulling my skin as I recoil in disgust. A spider web. What have you gotten me into, boy? I scold. One hand gripping the rope, I use my other hand to unsheathe the knife, fumbling with both as my nerves take over. Raw spots of skin dot Rex's fur coat where the hair has been ripped away during his struggle with the sticky web. Silken strands entwine the fence around the tangled rope. I position the knife and make a clean slice, leaving only 2 feet of leash dangling from Rex's collar. We both look at each other for a fraction of a second before sprinting towards the house at full speed. I sense movement behind us. I write it off as paranoia, the way a person can feel their skin crawl after seeing a swarm of insects. Then, something blots out the sun. A huge shadow spreads over the yard, and I'm in the center of it, running. I turn my head to glance over my shoulder. Climbing over the shrubs from the yard adjacent to mine is a spindly arachnid with a great, plump, furry midsection. Its head is raised high, sunlight framing its face like a demented halo. 8 beady eyes, locked on me. Each slender leg has 2 joints where they bend, allowing the monster to skitter over obstacles with ease. It hoists its huge body over the fence, moving with grace across the dense, sticky patches of thread. 2 fangs protrude from its maw, taking up half its face. I think I see one of them. Drip. Still running, I pull the shotgun from its holster. It hurts when I twist around to aim. Something pops and then burns in my spine. I pay no attention to it, sending a shotgun blast across the yard toward the spider as it closes in on me. The shot misses, blows a hole in the bushes. Little pieces of splintered wood and fragments of leaves swirl behind the enclosing predator. I cock the shotgun again, slow my pace so I can steady the barrel. This blast throws my shoulder back. I'm running out of strength. I see chunks of flesh explode from the spider's abdomen, landing in sickening hunks on the grass and leaving a dent in its bulbous midriff. silently, without so much as a cry, its skinny legs stop moving. Body rigid. I hold my breath. Then, looking forward, running, I close the gap between myself and the door, looking behind me in time to see the spider slink away, mounding the fence, dropping soundlessly out of sight. The door swings open, and Mary steps aside, allowing a wide berth for us to spill through the entry. I fall to my knees and praise the safe refuge. She slams the door, locks it, runs to me, encircles me with her arms. I hear Rex whimpering, Mary sobbing with joy. My heart is thumping so loudly in my ears it's a miracle I can hear anything at all. I hug her tighter, and she kisses me all over my face. I look into her hazel eyes, fresh tears shimmering on their surface.
You are the bravest man I've ever known. And the sweetest,
she says, holding my face in her hands. Rex pushes his big furry head underneath our trembling arms and joins the reunion. His flat, gritty tongue is lapping at Mary's face and trying to reach mine. I keep his saliva-coated mouth at bay with my forearm as Mary continues to work her fingers through my hair, gently stroking. I feel her hot breath on my sweat-dampened skin and savor her familiar aroma. Rex is a good dog, but not worth dying for. Yet this woman, she is. And I would. Product 9 by Lindsey B. Goddard. She has 3 short story collections, a poetry book, and runs weirdwideweb.org. You can find her there. Also, FYI, her first novella, Ashes of Another Life, released in 2016, is slated for release as a full-length novel this year. Keep an eye out for it. Now, here's a thing, gentle listener. You may not be aware, but when spooky old October rolls around, well, at least for the last 3 years or so, our humble narrator is interviewed on the Dave Nemo show for Sirius XM, where they discuss what's going on in his weird little world of voice acting and all things spooky. Now, traditionally this has always been done live, but because our narrator is a busy little bee at the moment, they'll be pre-recording the interview a little later this week. We'll give you a heads up on Instagram and the Patreon page when we know the actual time of broadcast, for anyone who's interested. Okie dokie, Patreon subscriber news time. This breaking news just to hand. Nocturnal Transmissions' doorstep has been darkened by a new cohort. Tim Howard. Welcome, former minion, now cohort. Tim, thank you for your allegiance to the Dark Flame. And speaking of allegiance to the Dark Flame, Nocturnal Transmissions would like to send out a big thank you to all our esteemed cohorts. Magnificent individuals such as Joanne Brooker, Eugene Petrie, Andy Shammy, Robert Troy Hampton Peterson, Jerry Taylor, Tippy Polo, Johnny Kelly, J.B., Wayne Prince, Boole Swiftney, Princess Praying Mantis, Mudkip, Daniel Clanton, Amanda Moore, Arnie Frank, Kel Wielden, Daniel Kamienkowski, Heathen Soul, Alex Brewis, Rebecca Gates, Evan Dooley, Rachel Brown, Sam Hankins, Alicia Townsend, Adam, and Tim Howard. This transmission was transmitted by Nocturnal Transmissions, thanks in no small part to the generous assistance of our Patreon subscribers. All non-public domain stories are featured with the permission of the authors. All voices and production are concocted by Kristin Holland. Until next time, as always, watch the skies, fear the dark, and don't trust anyone. Especially yourself. Good night, gentle listener.